Ever wondered how the pros take such stunning photographs? Wish you could do the same? Welcome to the thrilling world of photography, a realm of endless creativity and exploration. Today, we delve into this fascinating art form, unveiling its intricacies and the magic behind those captivating images. This video is your gateway to understanding basic photography techniques that are not exclusive to the professionals, but can be mastered by anyone with a passion for capturing moments. We'll be exploring the backbone of good photography, from understanding your camera, mastering the rule of thirds, playing with lighting and shadows, to the importance of experimenting and practicing. By the end of this video, you'll have a solid foundation, a better understanding of how to take great photos, turning ordinary moments into extraordinary memories. Are you ready to unlock your potential and start taking amazing photos? Let's dive in. Your camera is your tool. To master photography, you need to understand how your tool works. Let's start with the fundamentals. Every camera, regardless of its complexity, has three basic features: the shutter, the aperture, and the ISO setting. These three elements form the exposure triangle, a crucial concept in photography that determines how light or dark your image will be. The shutter is like a curtain in front of the camera sensor that stays closed until the camera fires. When the camera fires, the shutter opens and fully exposes the camera sensor to the light that passes through the lens. The duration that the shutter stays open is called the shutter speed. A fast shutter speed lets in less light and freezes the action, while a slow shutter speed lets in more light, creating a sense of movement and blur. Next, we have the aperture. Think of the aperture as the eye of your camera. It's a hole within the lens, through which light travels into the camera body. The size of this hole can be adjusted, affecting not only the amount of light that enters the camera, but also the depth of field. A larger aperture, smaller number, creates a shallow depth of field, meaning a blurry background, while a smaller aperture, bigger number, provides a greater depth of field, keeping more of the scene in focus. Finally, let's talk about ISO. It's the level of sensitivity of your camera to available light. A lower ISO value means lower sensitivity to light and finer grain, while a higher ISO increases the sensitivity and produces a coarser grain. Remember though, higher ISO settings might lead to more noise in your photos. Understanding these three features and how they interact is crucial to creating the image you envision. Each setting has its own strengths and weaknesses, but when they all work together, they can produce truly stunning results. Your camera is more than just a device, it's an extension of your vision and creativity. Now that you understand your camera, let's apply a basic principle of composition: the rule of thirds. The rule of thirds is a simple yet powerful technique that helps to bring balance and interest to your photos. It divides your frame into a grid of 9 equal parts, 3 vertical and 3 horizontal, creating 4 intersection points. These points are where the human eye naturally gravitates in an image. Let's delve into how this rule can improve your photo composition. When you place your subject at one of these intersection points, it creates a pleasing tension and balance, giving your image a dynamic feel. For example, if you're photographing a landscape, you might place the horizon along one of the horizontal lines rather than in the middle of the frame. This gives more emphasis either to the sky or the land, depending on where the horizon line is placed. Similarly, when taking a portrait, you might position the person's eyes along one of the horizontal lines or at an intersection point. This draws the viewer's attention directly to the subject's eyes, creating a strong connection. But don't forget, while the rule of thirds is an effective tool to guide your composition, it's not a hard and fast rule. Feel free to bend or even break it when the situation calls for it. This is where your creativity comes into play. After all, the best photos are often those that surprise or intrigue us. And sometimes, that means stepping outside of conventional techniques. So the next time you're framing a shot, consider the rule of thirds. Visualize that grid in your viewfinder and place your subject accordingly. You might be surprised at how this simple rule can transform your photos, making them more balanced and visually appealing. Remember, the rule of thirds isn't a strict rule, but a guideline to help you compose your shots. Whether you're a budding photographer or a seasoned pro, it's a technique worth mastering. So grab your camera, start experimenting, and let the rule of thirds guide your photographic journey. Lighting can make or break a photo, but did you know that shadows are just as important? In the world of photography, The interplay of light and shadow is a fundamental component that gives your images depth, texture, and emotion. It's a dance between illumination and obscurity that can transform an everyday scene into a work of art. Think of lighting as the mood setter. It's the primary factor in how your photo feels. Warm, golden sunlight can evoke feelings of happiness and tranquility. A colder blue-toned light might suggest solitude or sadness. The intensity of the light also plays a role. Bright, harsh light creates strong contrasts and bold, dramatic images. On the other hand, soft, diffused light brings out subtle details and creates a more serene atmosphere. Now let's move into the shadows. Shadows are often overlooked, but they are the unsung heroes of photography. They add depth and dimension to a photo, giving it a three-dimensional feel. Without shadows, your images can appear flat and lifeless. But shadows are more than just a way to add depth. They can be used creatively to draw the viewer's eye to certain parts of the image. They can create mystery, add drama, and even tell a story. A shadow falling across a person's face might suggest a hidden side to their character. A long, stretching shadow could symbolize the passage of time. Different types of light cast different types of shadows. Hard light, like that from a midday sun, creates sharp, defined shadows. Soft light, such as that on a cloudy day, produces softer, less defined shadows. So how do you master the art of lighting and shadows? Experimentation is key. Play with different types of light, at different times of the day, in different weather conditions. Learn to see the light, understand its qualities, and use it to your advantage. By harnessing the power of light and shadow, you can create stunning images with depth and emotion. Photography is an art, and like any art, it takes practice and experimentation to master. It's about bringing out the unseen, capturing the fleeting, and immortalizing the momentary. And as with any craft, the key to mastery lies in the willingness to try, fail, learn, and try again. Imagine that the world is your canvas and your camera is your brush. Don't be afraid to paint outside the lines. Experiment with different techniques. Try shooting from various angles. Play with light and shadow. Use the rule of thirds in unconventional ways. There is no right or wrong in art. It's all about creating something that resonates with you and hopefully with others too. But remember, it's not enough to just experiment. Practice is equally, if not more, important. The more you use your camera, the better you'll understand its capabilities and limitations. The more you compose shots, the better you'll get at identifying what works and what doesn't. Now, you might be wondering, how do I stay motivated? Well, one way is to set goals. Maybe you want to capture the perfect sunrise, or maybe you're striving for that flawless portrait shot. Having a target to aim for can keep you focused and motivated. Another strategy is to immerse yourself in the world of photography. Follow photographers whose work you admire. Read books, watch tutorials, attend workshops. Surround yourself with inspiration and knowledge. And lastly, enjoy the process. Don't let the pursuit of perfection rob you of the joy of creation. There will be times when you're not happy with your shots. That's okay. It's part of the journey. Each failed shot is a step closer to a successful one. The journey to becoming a great photographer is a rewarding one. Keep practicing, keep experimenting, and most importantly, have fun. Remember, every great artist was once an amateur. Your potential is limitless, and your camera is your ticket to a world of creativity and expression. So go ahead and start your journey today. We've covered a lot today, so let's do a quick recap. We started by introducing you to the fascinating world of photography, a realm where creativity meets technology. We then delved into the complex yet intriguing aspects of understanding your camera. Remember, knowing your equipment is the first step towards becoming a proficient photographer. We also explored the vital concept of the rule of thirds, a composition technique that can transform your photos from simple snapshots to captivating images. We shed light on the importance of lighting and shadows, reminding you that even the most mundane subjects can be brought to life with the right illumination. Finally, we emphasized the importance of experimentation and practice. Photography, like any art form, requires patience and perseverance. Keep pushing your creative boundaries and don't be afraid to make mistakes. Remember, the best camera is the one you have with you. So grab your camera and start shooting.